Hey everybody, what is going on? We're here with some Infinite Magicraid. This is gonna be a long video. You knew that when you clicked on it though. I'm sure you saw the timestamp. I don't know how long yet, but I know it's gonna be a long video. I'm going to go through and look at every epic in the game. And it's gonna take us a while, but I like to do this in these games. I like to get familiar to some degree with what everyone does. Obviously, it's hard to commit it all to memory, but I think it's not a bad idea to see everyone's skills, just in case there's a standout, right? There's tier list, and there's the popular epics like Holder and Liz and Weem, and we know like who the real popular ones are. But I think sometimes there's some sleepers. I did a video about dungeons recently, and I happened to look at her as kind of an example, and I feel like she could be really good. So she's one that I'm gonna build and test out. And I don't know if she's popular yet. Obviously, I don't get to make the rounds and watch the videos the way that other people do because I'm just so busy all day. So I kind of have to jump in and learn all this stuff on my own. And I've been told in the past people enjoy it when I do these for other games. So I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna take a look at every epic skills, and we're just gonna see what everybody does. Okay, it's more of an informative video. I'm not ranking anybody. I'm not, it's not a tier list, it's not anything like that. It's just going through and seeing what every epic does. And seeing if there's anybody in there that maybe we think is interesting enough to do something with. So let's start here. Now, I know everyone's saying Weem. I'm saying Weem when I say this dude's name because the only person I've ever known named with a name like this is Weem Hoff, and he says it Weem. So we're calling him Weem. I know this guy's very popular. He's good. He's got a lot of shields and stuff, which will be very handy in the Growlin dungeon, because shields are very important there. So if for no other reason, he would shine in there, but I know that he's good everywhere. So let's take a look at him. 200% defense damage to a single enemy, so pretty good multiplier on the A1, scales off his defense. And then we've got a little bit of an AoE here with damage reduction to all allies, which is pretty dope. For every ally whose HP is below 24%, Weem grants them a shield by 20% of max HP when he survives for 2 turns. Now, I don't really understand how this works, honestly. It's a passive skill. Does that mean when their HP drops below that amount, he gives them a shield? And then it goes on cooldown? I'm guessing that's what that means. I'd have to see it in action to know if it... I guess it's when their HP drops below a certain point, and then when you skill him up, it happens a little bit sooner in their HP drop. So I'm assuming that's what that means. And then when you get his exclusive done, he gets a cooldown reduction on it, which is pretty dope. So, and then here he's got the shield on all allies for 2 turns. You can skill it up to a 4-turn cooldown, and you can increase the duration of the shield to 3 turns, which is pretty good. That means he's going to be relatively constant with the shield. And then when you get his second exclusive, it gains 1 more action turn. So he does this and then gains another turn. Yeah, he's dope. I see the appeal for sure. He's pretty dope and decent damage output. Decent damage. Not bad at all. She's the one we looked at that I think I want to try out. She's got effect resistance down on the A1, so it's going to make it easier for your team to land debuffs. And then we've got the... they like to do the to a target and 2 random enemies thing in this game, I'm noticing. And she's got a chance to inflict burn for 2 turns. When you skill it up, it's a pretty good chance to land. It gets down to a 3-turn. And then when you get her exclusive, it's an AoE. So it's an AoE burn. AoE 80% chance burn on a 3-turn cooldown. Not bad at all. Here, she does more burn damage. Skilled up, that will go up to 40%. And then here, she gets a good defense down when you get her exclusive up. And then it's an AoE with a chance to inflict burn. If the skill detonates burn, reduce the target's defense. So I think she's good. I think she's going to be real good in dungeons, honestly. She's got... Every skill is something useful. So I think she might be a good one. Star. Okay. We've got a defense down on the A1. Fine. Crit rate for all allies and crit rate for self for 2 turns. And then he gains another turn. So that's kind of dope. You can get it down to 3 turn. Get himself the good crit rate buff. And then if exclusive triggers grittiness. I don't know what that is. He additionally casts righteous motivation immediately 1 time. Oh, grittiness is another thing. I thought it was like a buff or something. Okay. If he has Immortal, he's immune to death, restores self HP by 20% of max HP, and gains Immortal status. And his turn meter cannot be reduced for 1 turn when he takes fatal damage. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to work with some of the wording on this stuff too. I think when he takes fatal damage, it should be at the beginning of this. I don't know why it says if he has Immortal. I know if he has Immortal, he's immune to death. But if he has Immortal, he doesn't restore his HP and gain Immortal. You know what I mean? I think it's when he takes fatal damage, he gains Immortal, I think is what that means. And then he'll gain his HP and all that. I want that off my screen right now. Can you really not get rid of that once you've done it? I don't remember that being a problem before. I guess not. I hate it. I hate that. And then 200%. I don't think this guy's really that interesting, to be honest. I don't really think there's anything that interesting about him. The crit rate buff is nice, but like I don't think there's anything super interesting going on there. We've got a bleed on the A1, attack buff, increases self turn meter. If that was all turn meter, we'd be onto something, but self turn meter, I don't know if that's enough. Restore self HP at the end of each turn, and then damage to all enemies with a chance to reduce their. So we got an AoE defense down here. What is she kind of like the War Maiden? Is she a bit like the War Maiden here? She's nice if you're looking. If you can get an attack buff on her first, she could be a good defense down. But again, I don't know. I feel like stuff's a little bit out of order here. Blade. Damage to an enemy and restores self HP by 5% of max HP. Increases self defense, then deals defense damage to a single enemy and reduces their turn meter by 15%. Decent. And this is defense damage as well. Blade takes 12% less direct damage from enemies whose defense is lower than his own when taking direct damage. This is pretty cool too, actually. Inflicts stun on an enemy for 1 turn with a 50% chance to reduce their defense by 60% for 2 turns, then deals defense damage to the target. That's pretty nice. That's pretty nasty, actually. Stun, then a defense down, then damage on 1 skill. Takes less damage, so he'd be good to absorb like attack cleaves. Gives himself a defense buff. Yeah, he's kind of interesting, actually. He's kind of interesting. Yeah, he seems decent. Reeves. Reeves is one I've seen in tier list a lot, but I don't know anything about yet. 2 stages of attack damage with a chance to inflict bleed. Grant self counterattack for 3 turns with effect hit up. That's pretty dope for 2 turns. 50% chance to reduce the cooldown of hack and slash by 1 turn each time he casts rapid slash. I'm guessing rapid slash is that, and this will be the old hack and slash. Deals 5 stages of damage to a single enemy with a chance to inflict 1 layer of bleed. Now, what I want to know, if anyone knows this and wants to let me know in the comments, does each hit have a chance to land a bleed? Or does the whole skill have a chance to land 1 bleed? That would be interesting to know. What are his exclusives? So what, he doesn't even get anything at exclusive 1? You have to get 2 and 3 to get those skill bumps? Increases the chance of inflicting bleed to 50%. Additionally, inflicts horrify on the target if they have 5... Oh no, that makes me think it's each hit then. If they has 5 layer of bleeds after dealing damage to the target. Okay, then yeah, I guess that means each hit. He seems decent. He almost seems kind of like a budget, I want to say budget holder, but I don't even know if that's fair. He's actually kind of decent. Yeah, I guess budget holder is probably fair, but he seems real good, actually. He does seem good. Joseph. Attack damage, extra damage to any target under provoke. I'm gonna lean back a little bit. We're gonna get comfortable because we're gonna be here for a while. AoE attack down, not bad. Restore self HP by 6% of lost HP plus 5% of max HP when a turn starts. All right, cool. Increases self crit rate. Deals 2 stages of attack damage to a single enemy. The second stage inflicts provoke. All right. He's decent. Got a little self-sustain. He's kind of provoke heavy. Yeah, he's interesting. All right, that's it for that faction. Justy. That's a name? With piercing rate. I'm guessing piercing rate is ignoring defense. I guess. Ally attack by 20% for 2 turns and gains 1 more action. See, that's kind of dope. 30% chance to inflict severe wound, inferior severe wound for 2 turns when dealing direct damage if the target is severely wounded already, inflicts severe wound. Okay. Okay. 240% attack damage to an enemy. Skill also 30% more crit damage. If the target is successfully killed by the skill, cast this skill again to a random enemy. Can only be additionally cast for 1 time. That's kind of cool. That's kind of a cool little skill. 50% more damage to the target who is severely wounded is dope. Maybe an interesting like arena single target nuke. Maybe if you're trying to get in there and like take out a reviver real quick or something. Because he also attack buffs himself and gains an extra turn. So as long as you can tune him right to where you can get that first turn, he might be able to take someone out. You have to set him up a little bit, I reckon. You need someone else who can put up a severe wound, a defense down. Like you have to set him up a little bit, but decent. And then he could put some damage into someone else. He's interesting. I don't know that he's the best option for something like that, but he seems usable if you're hurting for something like that. Accuracy down on the A1. The good attack up. Okay, nice on all allies. Grants all allies more effect hit when he's alive. When multiple skills increases attribute, only the strongest one will take effect. Okay, fair. Still effective after he dies. And then doubles the effect of his blessing if the ally is under attack up status, which he can do for them, so, okay. Attack damage to all enemies, chance to reduce their crit rate. If successfully reduces the crit rate, additionally reduces their turn meters by 20%. If not, reduces by 10%. Okay. Increases the chance by 25% and increases turn meter. All right, he's interesting as well. He seems interesting. A1 provoke, but he's doing attack damage. He's got consolidation on all allies. Consolidation 2 on himself. Restores self HP by 12% of the lost HP at the beginning of each turn. Doubles the restoration ratio when self HP is lowered to 50%. Restore self HP by 5% more of max HP. So he's got some sustain. Decent damage to a single enemy and a stun. I don't know that I'm super interested in him though. %chance to provoke. I don't know. I don't think I'm particularly interested in Capello. Obero we know is pretty solid. 2 stages of damage. Decent damage to a single enemy with feebleness. Chance to inflict bleed when he crits. And then this one right here was pretty cool. Deals the same amount of damage to the same target and attacks enemies under feebleness first. That's pretty cool, actually. And then when Phantom Cut is released, gains an additional 40% crit damage. Where's his other? Oh, he just gets 2? Okay. Yeah, he's dope. We know he's dope, though. Christian is like the starter epic. He's the one I'm investing in on the free-to-play. 2 stages of attack damage. Chance to inflict a stun. So he's got the A1 stun. He's got the shield on all allies. Ooh, and I get his exclusive. I'll get an extra turn. That'll be handy. And that gets down to a 3-turn skilled up, too. Forgot about that. Once sword charge is triggered, increases self-attack by 20%. That's pretty dope too, man. He's got good exclusives. He's a solid champ. He's a good one for them to give you to start out, I think. I think they did a pretty good job with that. He's not like insanely broken. He's not gonna carry you to the end game or anything, but he's definitely usable. He's been handy for me on the free-to-play. Yeah, and his exclusives are all good too. Yeah, he's pretty dope. Backens. So we got burn on the A1, decent damage on the A2, more crit rate. If he crits, lands burn again. Restore self HP by 8% of max HP every time he detonates burn. I need to figure out exactly how burn works. 50% attack damage of the inflictor each turn before action. Stacks 2 layers of status to get an extra 300% attack damage of the inflictor with explosion and remove the debuff of burn. Stacks 2 layers. It says it like it does it. I guess that means if you put another burn up, then it detonates. So 2 layers of burn will detonate it. Is that what that means? Okay. So it kind of turns into a bomb. 2 layers of burn kind of turns it into a bomb. Am I interpreting that correctly? Damage to all enemies with chance to inflict burn. If the skill ends a crit, doubles the chance. He's kind of dope, actually. He's a decent little burn slash bomber, potentially. Everything he does adds burns, so he's got a he's very likely to get 2 layers of it up. He's interesting. Again, another interesting champ here. Would be fun to play around with, perhaps. Ross. Increases his turn meter with the A1. Speed for an ally for 2 turns that increase. So a single target turn meter boost. 60% is quite a bit. Turn meter by 12% at the end of each turn. So he's kind of a turn. Yeah, okay. 3 stages of attack damage to a single enemy and reduces their turn meter. So turn meter reduction and then a lot of turn meter boosting. Probably usable in like very specific situations. I think of something like Summoner's War that has like the 3v3 guild wars, and something like this could be interesting. That big single target turn meter boost it could be a good setup for someone that has like a really strong move, and that way you could invest in the power of that move rather than needing speed. You know what I mean? Like something like that very specifically, but I don't think we have that in this game. So far, I think all the PvP has been the same amount of enemies, right? Isn't Arena, and then 3v3 Arena is again just that 3 times, and then I think Guild Arena is 5v5 also, so probably not as needed, whereas somewhere like 3v3, you know what I mean, you're kind of setting up for one thing. 5v5, you have a lot more wiggle room, but I don't know, maybe situationally interesting. Wait. Yeah, okay. All right. Shapatite. Shapatite? I don't know. Kind of dope looking though. Accuracy down on the A1. Severe wound. So yeah, pairing with that dude that does like extra damage to severe wound and stuff. Here's someone that could potentially fill that slot, you know what I mean? When he inflicts a debuff effect, 30% chance to extend the effect, and then all enemies inflicts resistance buff. And that's, yeah, block buffs, okay. So AoE block buffs with no percentage chance to land, which means it's just gonna rely on your accuracy on a 4 turn. AoE block buffs, pretty nice. Chance to extend debuffs. So potentially puts it up for 2 turns. Interesting. Potentially problematic in some PvP. Reliant. Is it reliant or is it like reliant? I don't know. Alright, speed down on the A1. Damage to all enemies. So AoE speed down, okay. Increases shielded effect by 10%. Grants self a shield by 20% of max HP for 1 turn when a turn ends. So keeps a shield on herself. So interesting for the Growlin dungeon, perhaps. The slow could be handy. And can you put a slow up in there? They're immune to something. They're immune to control effect. Yeah, you could put a slow up in there then. So lots of slows and then keeps a shield on herself. Pretty handy. And then speed of all allies and gains an extra turn. She's Simple, but I think effective. She'll keep herself shielded in that dungeon. She'll keep a slow up for sure. And then she'll keep your team cycling. Not simple, but I think not bad. Stick. Alright, another speed down. Alright, single target speed down. More damage to targets under speed down, so probably pairs well with the chick we just looked at. And then also, yeah, keeps speed down. Everything he does inflicts a speed down, and he does more damage to targets with the speed down. That would also be interesting to play around with. Now we've got turn meter reduction in his exclusive. Yeah, probably interesting. Probably some interesting pairings, I would think. Ruin. Defense damage to a single enemy with a chance to steal one type of attribute buffs from the target. 50% chance to inflict stun after successfully stealing a buff. Alright. Pretty big hit there. Scaling on defense. 60% chance to reduce the target's defense by 30%. And a 60% chance to inflict feebleness. Okay. Alright. The ally with the highest max HP grants ally protection to themselves at the beginning of each wave. Additionally grants Ruin and this ally 30% effect resistance respectively while under the effect of ally protection, and they share 50% of the damage taken by Ruin respectively. Oh, okay. Interesting. He's got a built-in ally protection for whoever on the team is most appropriate to pair with him. That's a really cool effect, actually. That is pretty cool. And then 200% defense damage to all enemies and reduces their turn meter by 20% with a chance to inflict AoE stun, turn meter reduction, and damage. He's dope. I think he's dope. And the ally protection thing is it's very interesting on him because he's a defense champ. So you're going to be scaling his defense up. So unless they're ignoring defense, he's not going to be taking a ton of damage anyway. So basically what you're doing is splitting up damage that's already going to be heavily mitigated. So he's going to be kind of hard to kill if you don't have ignore defense or a good defense down. And then with his exclusives, defense reduction is 60% and inflicts feebleness 2. So he gets real strong at exclusive 2. And then now dashing cross steals 50% of the target's turn meter or all of the turn meter if it's below 50%, and he steals it. He is very he is one I would like to play around with, actually. Specifically, I think in PvP. I feel like I would like to play around with him in Arena a little bit. He's a cool one. Yeah, he seems dope. Wait, can you preview? You can look at their animations and stuff? No way. That's crazy. That's a really cool thing. Man, this game has so much going for it, man. Okay, I like him. He's one I'm gonna keep my eye on. I'm gonna play around with him a little bit. Let's speed down on the A1, AoE, extra piercing rate, which again I assume is ignore defense, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So very simple here, just damage with some ignore defense built in, I think. If I keep saying that and it's wrong, sorry. That's just what, I don't know what else it would be. And then AoE speed down. All right, very simple stuff there. All right, we got a lot of epics here. Melassa. We've got poisons. Target and 2 random enemies. We know they like to do that with more poisons. Deals 20% more direct damage to any enemy under poison status. And then 420% attack damage to a single enemy and inflicts 2 layers of poison. Kind of dope. Lots of poisons and a pretty big smack here. 420% attack damage, but then also skilled up 24, 28, 32, 36. Interesting way to scale that up. 36% more direct damage on top of the 420%. Be interesting to test out and see. She definitely sets herself up for it. She doesn't really need much else. You can attack buffer and you know you can set her up other ways, but pretty cool little champ there. Mafka. More poisons. They seem to kind of like to theme factions, I think. I feel like I notice a bit of a trend through the faction. More poisons again. AoE. Turn meter by 8% additionally when she inflicts a poison. Nice. Restores all allies' HP by 8% of max HP and cleanses all attribute debuffs. Pretty solid. Additionally, cleanses 5 layers of dot debuffs. Very straightforward, solid support though. Decent heal with a cleanse. Turn meter reduction when she lands poisons, and she lands poisons. So, dope. Simple, but again, pretty effective. Stan. It's such a weird name for this champ. Again, A1 poison. Single enemy with a chance to inflict silence. If he's got higher defense than the enemy, it's a 100% chance. Okay. The poison damage inflicted by Stan is calculated based on his defense. Each layer of poison deals 100% defense damage. Increases Stan's defense by 4% when he takes direct damage, up to 10 times. This effect cannot be removed. So longer boss fights, he's probably going to be pretty decent. He scales up, which means his poison damage scales up over time. And he gets harder to kill. And then 5 layers of poison. That would be interesting to see in action. For 2 turns. Okay. He does seem cool. He seems like one I would like to test out. Dale. Turn meter reduction. Turn meter boost with an extra turn after. Okay. Her turn meter cannot be reduced. And then 3 stages of damage to a single enemy, causing 460% attack damage and reducing the turn meter by 40% in total. So a big nuke. And then it has 30% more crit rate when she's got exclusives. Increases the turn meter reduction 25%. That's pretty nasty. That's a lot of turn meter reduction on an A1. So she can boost herself, get an extra turn. At exclusive, she gets more crit rate here. So this could be a big old smack right here. A big old smack with a lot of turn meter reduction. So again, very simple, but very usable, I think. Decent multiplier for an A1. Attack damage to a single enemy and steals 1 random buff from them while resetting the buff duration. If target has no buff, puts block buffs up. Cool. Has a chance to inflict bleed for 2 turns. Everything she does, okay. And then 3 stages of damage to a single enemy with a 40% chance to inflict bleed. So bleeds. Alright, cool. Pacino. Inferior severe wound. Stealth and increases all allies' speed and attack. Nice. Grants self a shield when a turn ends. Growlin, perhaps. Grants all allies a shield by 20% of max HP for 2 turns, and then deals damage. Yeah, probably not a bad option for that dungeon, at the very least. Probably not a bad idea in general, though, for support. Grants self a shield, gives all enemies a shield and does damage, buffs everybody's speed and attack, grants itself stealth, and then heal block on the A1. So maybe some Gwyneth potential in there as well. Sylvan. A1 defense down, grants all allies a shield, and cleanses 1 type of random debuffs from all allies. Grants all allies more effect resist when Sylvan survives. Pretty nice. multiple skills increase, only the strongest will take effect. And then deals damage to all enemies with a chance to inflict intertwined for 2 turns, and a chance to reduce the target's attack. What is intertwined? Changes to stun after 2 turns. That's an interesting. That's interesting. Okay. Glary. My name's Gary with an L. Alright. Feist. Chance to inflict burn. Nice. AoE burn. 60% chance to inflict a burn on all enemies for 2 turns at the beginning of each wave. Oh. And you can get it to 100%, huh? Okay. That's kind of nasty, actually. Self-effect by 50% for 2 turns. Afterward deals damage to a single enemy. Meanwhile, it deals detonation damage by 200% attack 1 time. I don't know what that means. Removes burn and increases. Yeah. That I understand. Yeah, I don't know if burns just detonate when they hit 2 layers or what. I still need to dig in and figure out how burn fully works. Norma. Chance to remove a layer of debuff at random. A layer of buff, sorry. So a buff strip on the A1. Damage to a single enemy and restores HP for an ally with the lowest HP percentage. Restores self HP by 4% of max HP when she takes direct damage. Okay. And then restores HP by 200% of attack plus 18% of max HP for an ally and grants them stealth. Alright, so some decent like single target support and a little bit of self-sustain. I just don't know if she's doing enough else around it. You know what I mean? I don't know if she's doing enough around it for me to be interested. Loof. Decent multiplier on the A1. Enemy target and 2 random enemies with a chance of inflicting HP burning. And that's the one where they take damage of their max HP, right? Okay. Restores his HP by 20% of max HP when he kills an enemy. Okay. So lots of HP burns. Okay, fine. Good stuff. Good for bosses. Liz, we know Liz is incredible. We'll take a look at her. HP burning on the A1. Restores HP by 80% of attack plus 6% of max HP for an ally and grants them resist debuff for 1 turn. Pretty handy. Restores self HP by 3% of max HP for every debuff inflicted on an enemy. And then restores HP by 10% of max HP for all allies and cleanses 3 layers of dot debuffs and grants them a shield. Crazy. On a 4 turn, the negative exclusive, it just gets stronger. Increases shield strength. 40%. Yeah, she's nasty. We all know that. We all know Liz ain't no joke. Mobus. The target is under HP connection. The attack has 60% more leech. Takes damage equal to part of the damage taken by any target releasing HP connection. This effect cannot be resisted. I don't know what that means. Takes damage equal to part of the damage taken by any target releasing HP connection. What does that mean? What does releasing HP connection mean? I don't know what that means. 200% damage to a single enemy. 30% of the damage taken by Mobus is then transferred to the target. So, okay. So if he puts HP connection on someone, it's basically like putting an ally protect on an enemy, right? Sort of. So then that enemy will share the damage he takes. I still don't know what releasing HP connection means, but I'm guessing that's kind of how it works. He puts this debuff on someone, and then when he gets hit, they share the damage he takes. I'm guessing. If the target is under HP connection, there's a 30% chance to extend the duration after actively launching an attack and dealing damage. If the target is killed, restores his HP by 30% of max HP. Deals 2 stages of damage to all enemies and deals 50% more damage to the target. There's probably something interesting here. I think we need to figure out how this debuff works, but there might be something to this. He's gonna need to be very tanky, I think, for this to really like have an impact. But there might be something to play around with here. It's hard to. He might be one that I need to see in action. You know what I mean? Manjka. I think I'm using him on the free to play. Yeah, reduces damage taken by 6%. He's got HP burns and provokes. Decent multiplier on the A2. 60% chance to restore self HP by 100% of attack when dealing direct damage to a target under HP burn. And then AoE, HP burn, and grades himself counterattack. He's decent. He's been interesting to use on the free to play. I don't know how hard I'll invest in him, but he's contributed for sure. Crap, what's that Doom Legion we were looking at? Yeah. So we're done with the top row. All right, let's keep it going. Rosalia. Increases self-turn meter if she crits. Increases all allied crit damage. The first Holy Light burst released in each wave is guaranteed to land a crit. Meanwhile, increases 80% more crit damage. I guess this is Holy Light. 300% to 400% attack damage to a single enemy. The more HP percentage the target has, the higher damage the skill deals. Okay. Alright. That scales up pretty hard, and it's a guaranteed crit. She might be a decent... Oh, it's a single target nuke, though. Okay, then maybe some PvP. Maybe another decent option to, like, you know, take a problematic champ out of the fight quickly or something. Kato. Restores self HP on the A1, grants all allies a shield, and grants himself immortal. Increases all allies' healed effect and shielded effect by 12% when he's alive. When multiple skills increase. Okay. Alright, interesting. Attack damage to all enemies and removes their stealth effect. With a 40% chance to inflict stun on them. Those whose stealth is removed will surely be infected with stun. So if he removes a stealth from you, you get stunned. And, like, no discussion. So AoE hit, remove stealth, potential to stun, guaranteed stun if you remove stealth. Everyone's healed and shielded effect is higher when he's alive, which means his shield will be stronger on everyone. Might be something here. I'm not sure. It's hard to say. Frey. Damage to a single enemy. Big multiplier on the A2. And then deals extra damage of the target's shield strength. The extra damage caps at 500% of Frey's attack. Okay. Gets stronger. All damage dealt by Frey ignores shield. And deals more damage to targets. So he ignores shield, deals more damage to targets that have shield. So now this makes a lot more sense. And then there's also something in the emblem tree, I think, where you do more damage to targets that have a shield. So if you are running if there is a like particularly problematic shield champ in arena, he's going to be a great counter to that. And then 2 stages of damage. The first stage deals attack damage, 6% reduces defense. If the enemy has a shield, the chance increases to 100%. The second stage deals 300% attack damage and deals additional damage by 40%. Yeah, this dude is a real problem for anybody with shields. It's very specific. Again, I don't think he's going to be just good all around. I don't think he's good on a widespread basis. But to counter shields, if there are shields anywhere in the game giving you a problem, this guy will solve that, I think. he's very cool. Maya restores HP by 5% of max HP for the ally with the lowest HP. Okay. Restores HP for an ally and another 2 random allies, before which, if the target's HP is full, cleanses 3 layers of dot debuffs from them and grants them heal. So it seems like we just got a really strong heal support here. Restore self HP. Whenever an ally takes damage, she heals herself. Okay. Loses HP by 35% of max HP and restores all allies' HP 3 times, each time restoring... Oh, right. And then she will heal herself after the damage. I saw them talking about this in the content creator chat, actually. She will damage herself to do this skill, but she then gets included in the heal as well. So it's not quite as bad as it might seem like it would be. Before the first restoration, grants consolidation. Before second, grants shield. Before third, grants resistance. All right, yeah. Just a really solid support, it seems like. Really good heal support here. Vegan. Decent multiplier on defense damage with a stun on the A1. Grants a shield to all allies. Grants a shield for all allies. Grants shield by 20% of max HP to all allies for 2 turns. Grants a shield by 30% of max HP for 2 turns instead, for all allies who do not have a shield. Okay. So if they're already shielded, I guess it's 20%. If they don't have a shield, it's 30%. Increases defense for all allies at the beginning of each wave for 2 turns. That's pretty dope. Exclusive, it goes up to 60. That's actually pretty good, honestly. That's pretty solid. Yeah, that's real good, actually. Damage to a single enemy with a chance to inflict a stun. When trial is released. So they use the word released as like casted. Okay. Self shield works 1 more turn if the target is under stun. Otherwise, the cooldown of trial refreshes. Okay. Andrew. Leah. Speed down on the A1. Speed down, a little bit of AoE. Every time the enemy's hypnotized status is removed by taking an attack or cleansing. Restores 14% of Leah's lost HP. And hypnotize is cannot move, but action resumes after... Oh, it's sleep. Okay. Attack damage to all enemies with a chance to sleep, so an AoE sleep. Alright, so you got a runner with single target stuff, but probably usable. You have to play on manual, probably, with her, but, like, I know that in Summoner's War for TOA, in the harder stages, running a sleep champ was very effective, but you had to manual, obviously. You have to pick and choose your targets and make sure no one's AoEing and stuff, so. Deschanel. Accuracy down on the A1. Severe wound, and that is single target. She's immune to severe wound. Enemies under severe wound or inferior severe wound deal less damage when she survives. When multiple skills increase distribute. Okay, so anybody that's got those debuffs do less damage. And then turn meter boost and heal. Okay, I mean, yeah, decent. AC? A1 poison. AoE damage. And then exclusive, it ignores shield, and then the fewer enemies on the battlefield, the higher the damage. But it only goes up by 60%. Okay, I mean, yeah, fine. Wait a minute, what? Oh, it affects both. Wait. Oh, here, okay. Deals damage to all enemies when he dies. And it ignores defense. Wait a minute. Why does that say Esther's gift? Did they change this champ's name and forget to update it in here or something? So he gets attacked when someone dies. And then when he dies, he does revenge damage. Okay, I mean, we'll see. Be interesting to see how it plays. Longbeard. Does more damage the more HP he's lost. So kind of like a built-in Fury. Fury? Yeah. 20% attack for 2 turns and then deals attack damage to a single enemy. The skill inflicts freeze on the target. If it lands a crit, the skill deals more damage. So he's got Fury just built into the kit, I guess. Freeze is just can't move. There's no other interesting things about it. Okay. 8% more leech and restore self HP by 5% of max HP. When he crits, restoration can only be triggered each turn. Once each turn. Stages of damage. Ignores targets. Ignores 50% of the defense if he crits. So he needs to crit. And he's got Fury built in, so the lower his HP, the higher the damage. Again, this is one of those things that, like, maybe very situationally would be usable, but I don't know that I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, maybe in a leech set, actually. He's got some self-sustain. I don't know, actually. A leech set would be really good for him because you'd keep this yo-yo effect of like him taking damage and lowering his HP, so he's doing more damage, so he's leeching more, so he's filling his health back up. Takes more damage, you know what I mean? It's like maybe there is something there. I don't know, maybe there is something there. Hard to say right now. Iguli. Restores HP by 30% of the damage dealt for the ally with the lowest HP. Chance to inflict freeze. If the target is under freeze, reduces their turn meter by 100%. Okay. Crit damage for all allies for 2 turns at the beginning of each wave is pretty interesting. You could run her with Lester, who's guaranteed to crit at the beginning of each wave. With his I can't remember if it's every skill or just his AoE, but again, throw her in the fight with Lester. And set Lester up to get that first turn. 60% bump. That there could be something there. 230% damage to the enemy. So feebleness on an enemy, and then crit rate. So she kind of sets herself up to not need much crit either. That's pretty dope, actually. And then feebleness 2 instead. So there's something here. There's something here. I don't know if it's like by herself, but there's some synergies here for sure. There's some teams to put her in for what she's got going on. Wonder how much time we've got till that happens. I wonder if we can finish this. Rumble. If not, we'll just come back when it's done. Inflict freeze. If he inflicts a freeze, he gets a shield. More chances to inflict freeze. Whenever an enemy target is inflicted with freeze or has speed reduced, he heals himself. And then damage to all enemies with a chance to inflict freeze. If it fails to inflict freeze, then he puts his speed down. Okay, I mean, yeah, something there. I don't know that he's crazy good or anything, but I don't know. At least his kit synergizes. I don't know how usable he is, but at least there's some synergy in his kit, you know what I mean? All right, we're in the Forgotten right now. We've got 3 more factions to go. I think we can knock this out before the maintenance starts. All right, Vadar. Damage to a single enemy with stun. AoE stun. 30% effect hit when he attacks targets with lower HP percentage than his own and gains 30% extra shield effect when he grants shield. All right, fine. Yeah, he's okay. I have no idea how to say it. Basiden. Inferior severe wound on the A1. Selects an ally to remove all their buffs and cleanse all their debuffs. Afterwards, increases attack, crit rate, crit damage, and reduces defense for them for 1 turn. The target acts for 1 turn immediately. Okay. So then they shed the defense down. So you wouldn't use this on a defense damage dealer, but for an attacker, sure. I feel like you're going to want to have exclusive before you use that, though. again, very situational. Kind of like what I was talking about in Summoner's War, where it's like usually you're setting one champ up to do something big. This is kind of like that. I don't think this is someone you just run in general, but for a specific setup situation, could be very good. Increases the damage dealt by 12% when an enemy is killed. Increases his turn meter when an ally is killed. Okay, fine. And then big damage here to an enemy and 2 random enemies. That's a lot for a little bit of AoE. 30% chance to reduce their attack. Yeah, there's something there. There's something there. Again, he's not like a carry. He's not someone you'd run in everything, but I think there's some setups there. Holder, we all know. We'll take a look, but we know. Bleeds on the A1. 2 stages of damage to all enemies with a chance to inflict bleed. He deals more direct damage to any target under bleed. And then increases his attack by 20% for 2 turns. Grants himself counterattack, and then gets an extra turn. He's ridiculous. We know. He's like the best epic in the game. He's the carry. If you have a holder, build him. Winix is one that is not getting a lot of love, but I really think there's something here. I really think there's something going on here for him. He's got Horrify on the A1, which is fine. He's got Turn Meter here, and then grants Stealth and Heal to the 2 allies with the lowest HP percentage. This gets down to 3 turns. Grants Self-Consolidation for 2 turns whenever an ally dies, and restores self HP by 20%. Like, all this is fine. This is why I think there's something here. Revives the selected ally with 20% of their max HP if they die, allowing the ally to act immediately. I don't know why it says if they die, because it's not a passive. It just revives them. It allows them to act immediately and resets all their cooldowns. That's crazy. The revived ally dies immediately after acting, increases the attack of the selected target by 40% for 2 turns, and grants him damage immunity for 1 turn if they are not dead. You really wouldn't want to use it if they're not dead, but you get it down to a 5 turn. It's a long cooldown. And then here, his exclusives. They have a chance to not die after they act, and this effect triggers every time until the target or he dies. If there is a dead ally, Winix additionally casts Call of the Underworld on the ally when he acts. The skill only takes effect 1 time in each wave. So you get him to his 3rd exclusive. The way that I'm reading that is, when he does something else, if there's a dead ally, he'll use this skill, but he's not using the skill, right? I feel like there's something there. Again, kind of the way you set up Cardinal teams in Raid. It's very niche. He's not someone I think you run everywhere, but I think there's some very problematic setups to run here with him. I don't think he's just automatically food. Guna, maybe? We got burns on the A1. No, I'm sorry. If they're under burn, attacks them an extra time. Those two stages of damage with a chance to inflict burn. More effect hit. AoE with a chance to inflict burn. Alright, very simple stuff there. Burns with an extra hit if they have a burn on the A1. Maguire has an A1 defense down. All team shield. 30% chance to inflict severe wound on the attacker for 2 turns if he has a shield when taking damage. And then Self gains a shield by 20% of max HP with a 60% chance to inflict provoke on the target for 1 turn. Then deals damage to the target with a chance to inflict severe wound. So he grants himself a shield, provokes someone, then if they hit him, they take severe wounds, they take a heal block. The provoke won't work on the boss, but he might be a good one to take into Gwyneth. You can keep shields on him, he can put severe wound up on Gwyneth and slow those heals down a bit. I think he's probably pretty good in there. Oh wow, we cleaned this one out, huh? Nameless Brotherhood. This is a dude that I thought seemed really good, but haven't done much with. I think the turn meter reduction on the A1 is interesting. And then an AoE defense down here. Reducing, yeah, you get his exclusive, it's a good AoE defense down. He ignores shield and deals more damage to targets having shield. And then a big hitter here with extra damage, caps at 50% of basic damage, by 15% of the target's max HP. I think there's something fun there. I think there's something interesting there, but I haven't had time to play around with him yet. This dude I really like a lot. I think he looks really dope. I think his kit's real good. He's very poison heavy. He's got deep poisoning here. which is like poison sensitivity if you played Rage. He's got poison sense on the A1, and then he's got a heal. He's got... No! Alright, we'll be back when the update's done. Alright, we're back. That didn't take too long. Alright, Wolsey. He's got the restores all allies by 5% of max HP, plus a percentage of his attack. Restores all allies HP by... Sorry, there's a plane real loud. I was seeing if y'all could hear it. Restores all allies HP by 1.8% of max HP each time Wolsey actively attacks one target under poison. And then here we've got damage to all enemies and additionally triggers poison one time. Up to 6 layers of poison can be triggered each time. Meanwhile, reduces the attack by 20% from targets under poison. If the target is not under poison, inflicts a layer of poison for 2 turns. So he inflicts poisons. He's got a lot of benefits to enemies having poison on them, both outgoing and incoming. And then he's got poison sense on the A1, so they do more damage. He's pretty solid, honestly. I like him. I'm a fan. I think he's decent PvE, for sure. Mori, I've heard some good things about, but haven't looked at. Chance to increase self-attack on the A1. Damage to a single enemy. Reduce their speed. Grants stealth. 40% chance to attach 50% leech rate when launching direct attack. I guess that means he has a 40% chance to leech, a 50% chance skilled up. Is that what that means? I don't know what attach 50% leech rate means. Does that mean he has a 50% chance to leech 50% of the damage he's doing? Maybe. Deals 200% to 400% attack damage to all enemies and reduces their turn meters by 20%. The fewer the targets, the higher the damage. He's fine. I guess he's fine. He seems... It's simple, but that doesn't mean it's bad. Lots of damage potential here. Yeah, I guess I'd have to see him in action. Sometimes it helps to, like, see them. This was another dude that, if I'm not mistaken, I thought seemed pretty... like someone I wanted to play around with a bit. 2 stages of damage. The first stage has a chance to reduce the target's effect resistance, and the second stage has a chance to reduce the target's speed. So he has a chance to make it easier to land debuffs and then land a debuff. But honestly, if he lands that one, he could have landed this one. This is more for the rest of your team, I reckon. 2 stages of attack damage to all enemies. The first stage has a chance to reduce the target's defense. Second stage has a chance of inflicting bleed. Here we've got has a 50% chance to inflict 1 extra layer of bleed whenever he inflicts an attribute debuff on an enemy target. Attribute debuff, attribute debuff, attribute debuff. So, lots of opportunities to land extra bleeds. Deals 8 stages of damage to a single enemy with a chance to inflict bleed for 1 turn. Now, based on what I've gathered from reading skills, I feel like each attack has a chance of landing a bleed. And then after it deals damage, he additionally triggers bleed 1 time on the target immediately if they have no less than 3 layers of bleed. So more. Up to 6 layers of bleed can be triggered each time. So I think he's got a lot of potential to stack a lot of bleeds. Worth playing around with. I'm not real sure. We got him on the free-to-play. We almost decided to invest in him before I went with Christian. He seems like a solid champ, though. Damage to a single enemy and gains shield by 5% of max HP for 2 turns. The shield gained by this attack can be stacked up to 5 times. Gains consolidation 1 for 2 turns and then deals defense damage to a single enemy. If he kills someone, it's triggered again on a random enemy. Kind of cool. 10% more defense and won't take crit from enemies whose defense is lower than his own. Again, pretty nice. And then 2 stages of damage to all enemies. And if you get him to exclusive 2, he buffs himself, which will buff his damage before he does it. He's a solid champ. Definitely a solid champ. I've had a few people tell me in the comments they invested in him as their carry, and he took them a pretty long way. So, pretty good champ. Moo. We've got Burns on the A1. We've got chance to inflict provoke and a shield on the A2. The burn damage inflicted by Moo is calculated based on his defense. Each layer of burn deals 50% defense damage. Upon taking direct damage, if the attacker is not under burn, there's a chance to inflict him with burn. Otherwise, has a chance of reducing the attacker's defense. So kind of like Drexstar, if you've played Raid. when someone hits him, he's got a chance to put HP burn on him. And if they have HP burn, I guess he puts a defense down on them, so that's pretty cool. And then increases self-defense by 30%. Deals damage to all enemies with a chance of inflicting burn. So just lots of burn. Burn heavy champ, pretty dope. Pretty dope. Lester's a bad dude. Lester's a bad man. Chance to reduce the defense on the A1. Good defense down on the A2 on a single target. He gains guaranteed crit for 1 turn at the beginning of each wave. Afterwards, gains guaranteed crit every 4 turns for 1 turn. While guaranteed crit is in effect, gain 30% more crit damage. So he's got guaranteed crit. He also bumps his crit damage up. When you skill him up, this goes to a 50% bump in crit damage. And then here, 260% damage to all enemies. And then he gets a chance to inflict burn. And yeah, he is... and has 30% piercing rate when he has guaranteed crit. So his first hit is nutty. So he's guaranteed to crit. He's going to get a bump to his own crit damage from his own skill. And then if we go back and look at... was it in here, I think? Her, right? Remember we were talking about crit damage for all allies at the beginning of each wave? Talking about setting champs up to do bigger things. There's a couple of champs we've seen that we could drop in with Lester, and it would just be an absolutely absurd first turn, right? So that's something to think about for Arena, where you want to get in and out as quickly as possible. There are a few ways to set Lester up to just do a ridiculous amount of damage. Make him very hard to counter, you know what I mean? So Lester's insane. Also decent for wave clearing in the dungeons. Obviously he can't do it every wave, but that first wave especially he's going to clear out quickly. And then again, it's not just a first turn thing, it's cycles, so every 4 turns, and then you get this skilled up, it falls right into it, right? It falls into the rotation. So every 4 turns he's going to bang out a huge AoE. He's a dope champ, and you can set him up to do some crazy things. I'm going to work to get to a place on my main account where I can get Lester built up a bit. It's going to be a while before I can like 5 awaken him or anything, but I do want to play around with him and some of these other synergies we've seen and see how much damage we can set him up to do, because it is stupid. Stupid. All right, Wizard's Eye. We got 2 more, right? No, we're in the last one now. All right, Wizard's Eye. Vero, what do we got? This attack has a 15% chance to inflict silence when landing a crit. The attack is guaranteed to crit if the target has no buffs. That's all right. AoE, guaranteed to land a crit on targets under silence. She's immune to silence, restores self HP whenever she successfully inflicts silence. And then an AoE chance. All right, okay. Lots of synergy in the kit. I don't know how. Silence is strong. Maybe situationally usable. Eden, again, when you get fairly early on, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like she was one that the game gave you. Pretty good support. Attack down on the A1, which is nice for dungeons. Attack buff on all allies. And then this gets real nice when you get her exclusives up. She gets turn meter boost and heals in it as well. Increases self speed 4% up to 3 times at the end of each turn. This effect can't be removed. And then restores HP for all allies and grants him a layer of heal. Just a solid, all-around solid support, honestly. She's very usable, very usable. And I'm fairly confident you get her early in the game. Sidora. An AoE. I think she's the only A1 AoE I've seen so far in the epics. Increases all allies' turn meters and cleanses all their attribute debuffs. That's a pretty strong A2, actually. And then grants block debuffs to all allies. Nice. Probably very good in is it Nedja? Probably pretty good in there. Takes 40% less direct damage at the beginning of each wave. This effect disappears after she completes her action for the first time. Meanwhile, reduces the attack of the enemy with the highest attack. Yeah, something there. And then damage to all enemies with a chance to inflict severe wound. Probably very usable in dungeons. As like if you're running like a double support, she's a good option for one of the supports, I would say. Magus. Turn meter reduction on the A1. Restores HP by 7% of max HP for an ally and another 2 random allies and grants them a layer of heal for 2 turns. Solid. When he releases a skill, has a chance to grant himself a layer of heal. Dope. Restores HP by 100% of attack plus 8% of max HP for all allies. So just a really solid healer then. Okay. Alright. Muller. Looking like M. Bison as a granddad. Damage to a single enemy. When an ally under ally protection takes direct damage, Muller grants that ally a shield by 12% of max HP for 2 turns. This skill only takes effect on one ally once each time. Okay. Another passive. When an ally under ally protection takes fatal damage, Muller loses 15% of max HP to make the ally immune to this death and restore HP to the ally. That's kind of dope. Grants an ally consolidation for 2 turns and ally protection for 3 turns. 50% of the damage taken by the ally will be taken by Muller instead. Meanwhile, grants self a shield. Yeah, he's very solid. Very solid ally protection. Very good at what he does, I think. Be interesting to see him in action, though. Bisley. Speed down on the A1. Speed for all allies. Increases crit rate for the ally with the highest attack. Okay. Alright. 30% chance to reduce 25% effect resist of the target. Okay. There's a chance to reduce the resistance of the target when she deals direct damage for 2 turns. Okay. There's a chance to put... Got it. Got it. AoE damage with a chance to put the good attack down. Nice. Okay, fine. Sylvester's another one that I thought seemed dope. Damage to an enemy reduces their tenacity if this attack lands a crit. 3 stages of attack damage to a single enemy and reduces their turn meter by 10% or reduces their turn meter by 15% if he crits. An additional 20% crit damage. Meanwhile, all allies gain 15% crit damage when he survives. When multiple skills increase his tribute, only the strongest will take. So you can't run him with the other chick from the other faction and Lester and have it all. You know what I mean? Actually, I need to double check that. I don't think there was anything in Lester about if multiple things increase this. So he's fine to have stuff stacked. How about her? Yeah, see, I think that's going to be important to take note of. Sometimes they don't lend themselves to being stacked, but then other times they do. Here, 500% attack damage to a single enemy. Steals their turn meter by 30% if he crits. Steals target's turn meter by 30% when not landing a crit. Yeah. That's a big old multiplier. I think that's the only 500% multiplier I've seen in the epics, and I haven't looked at all the legendaries yet. A big old single target nuke, and again, you could set him up. I don't think you could set him up the same way you could set up Lester, but that's a huge multiplier on a single target nuke. So definitely usable, I would say, but probably situationally. And I think that's it, right? Aren't we done? Yeah, that's all the epics in the game. We've taken a look now at all the epics in the game. Took us about an hour. That's not so bad, I reckon. It's a long video, though. So that's it. Now we at least have a general idea. Obviously, we didn't commit it all to memory, but the information's in there now to be referenced, so that'll definitely help. And I think there are some champs in here I for sure want to take a look at when I get to a point on my main account where I can do that, where I can start investing in some other champs. And in the meantime, we can go ahead and bring them up to, max level, maybe 5-star them, 5-star 1 occasionally in the middle of getting other champs awakened, because I just want to see some of these champs in action, see what they bring to the table. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this very long video. I hope you got something out of it. It's not a bad idea to get around and just get a quick idea of what all the champs do. And if you guys like this one, we might do one for the legendaries as well. I'm gonna do it myself for sure. But you guys let me know if you want another video like this where we go through and look at all the legendaries in the game as well. So that's it. I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate you guys. I hope you I appreciate you watching if you're still here. I hope you have a good one. That's it. Later.